Is Nicki Minaj this movie's secret weapon? You're watching Beyond the Trailer's review of The Other Woman.
He must be cheating on both of us because it's not me.
Oh my... What are you doing?
What's going on?
Hi.
I can't believe he would lie.
You smell amazing. What is that?
I think it's just sweat.
So what do you want to do?
I want him to feel pain.
We should kick him in the balls.
No, I really like the way your brain works, but I think we're going for something a little bit bigger.
It used to be awfully difficult to get a movie made with no male lead. But then Bridesmaids came out of nowhere, followed by Girls, and Judd Apatow laughed all the way to the bank. The rest of Hollywood wants a piece of that action. Now, TV already went through its sexual revolution a few years ago with shows like The Closer, Damages, Desperate Housewives, and Sex and the City. A trend which hasn't gone away as today we have Scandal, The Good Wife, Nurse Jackie, and Girls. And things are moving along pretty nicely and quickly on the big screen as well. Post Bridesmaids, we not only had The Heat, but also Gravity, The Hunger Games: Catching Fire, and Frozen. In light of those movies, though, is The Other Woman too late? A kind of outdated look at what a chick flick should be? And on the surface, one might think such material below the likes of director Nick Cassavetes, son of famed indie actor and director John Cassavetes. Sure, John Q. The Notebook and My Sister's Keeper isn't the most stellar of resumes, but is The Other Woman a new low? Maybe not. Bullying, particularly among young women, has become almost unbearable these days thanks to social media. And this bullying, which has tragically led to suicide, often begins with jealousy over a guy's affections. So perhaps a movie where wronged women decide to bond together rather than try to destroy each other is a much-needed step in the right direction. And on a lighter note, this might also be the movie that launches Nicki Minaj's movie career. When the trailer dropped, it was her involvement that caught the eye of moviegoers and drove search traffic. So while at first The Other Woman might seem goofy and shallow, perhaps it's a smart comedy after all. I was shocked at how many people showed up to see this movie on Friday night. It was jam-packed with a lot of people, mostly women. A couple dads had taken their daughters, and there were some people on dates. But still, a huge crowd of women, like the kind you were seeing for Bridesmaids, and also Sex and the City. That reminded me a lot of that movie-going experience as well, who just came out in droves to have a good time. They were ready for fun. And I'm happy to say that The Other Woman delivers. This would have to be the best comedy I've seen like this, female comedy, since Bridesmaids. It's not as good as Bridesmaids, but it's awfully close, and it's certainly better than The Heat, the big summer hit from Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy. And I think some of that credit obviously goes to Cameron Diaz, who seems to have really found her groove with raunchy comedies. The trailer for Sex Tape played in front of this movie very well. You could tell that everybody was going to go see that one as well, so I think she's going to have 2 hits in a row, which she badly needs. So good for Cameron Diaz for sticking it out, not giving up, and finding a new place for her to really thrive in Hollywood. But despite what she, I think, brings to the movie, and I think she was the big selling point to go into the film, I think everybody walking out is going to be a new Leslie Mann fan, because this is really her movie. I was shocked at how good she was. She was phenomenal. She was endearing. She was very funny. Everyone here had good comedic moments, though, which I'll get to in a second to discuss with the rest of the cast. But Leslie Mann really was the breakout star here, which was great to see, because in the past, I've always thought that she really only worked because she's married to Judd Apatow, who mostly is the one who casts her. And, sometimes she takes on roles that, female comedic roles that are a little bit hard to cast. For instance, she was in 17 again opposite Zac Efron, and so you always got the feeling that she was just kind of a fill-in. But she really comes into her own here, and I wouldn't be surprised to see her in more starring roles after this, and also maybe being used more in the advertising. She'll become more of a selling point. But the whole cast is good. Nicki Minaj, I talked about her in the open. She's very good. I think you could sense the room, kind of the energy in the theater lift when she came on screen. I think people were very curious to see how she'd do, because as I mentioned, she was driving a lot of the search traffic for this movie, and she doesn't disappoint. She's very good. I would like to see more Nicki Minaj on the big screen. And Kate Upton was also very good. It's hard for supermodels to transition into film. They're very self-aware, something that Tyra Banks has pointed out. I think one of the best Tyra Banksisms ever is that she said models have to be self-aware in that business, because they have to be aware of their body and how they're looking on camera, but the whole point of an actor is to not be self-aware. So that kind of, they're at odds, the two careers, which is why it is hard for models to transition. But Kate Upton did a very nice job. Maybe because she's not a traditional model. She came up in a different route, in social media, and she's more of a men's female model than your high fashion model. But she was very good. She didn't have a lot to do, but she had some really funny lines that she delivered quite well. And I could say the same for Nicki Minaj. And I think that the big overall arcing theme here, which is why this movie succeeds and why everyone does such a good job, is that while it has great fashion and great locations, which I think are crucial elements to a good chick flick, at the end of the day, every character is made to seem like a real person with flaws and strengths, very fleshed out. And also they really focus on the female friendships and the importance of female friendships. And everyone here seems like you would want to be friends with them. That's also a really great aspect of the movie. They seem like a group of women you'd want to hang out with. At least I would. And that's to the credit not only of the actresses, all of them, all four, Cameron Diaz, Leslie Mann, Kate Upton, and Nicki Minaj, but also Nick Cassavetes, who directed the film, and of course the screenwriter Melissa Stack. They all come together, I think, to put together something that's really nice. Now, the only problem I have with the film, there are only two real problems. The first is that about 2/3 through, it kind of lags a little bit. It loses some momentum. There are some montages that go on for a little bit too long. They're too repetitive. It's a lot of montages of them just all laughing. I'm like, I get it. You're having a good time. Let's move on. But the film had such a strong high at the beginning. It was so strong out of the gate that it can last through that lull. And then the end, I don't want to give it away, but there has a spectacular finish. One of the best finishes I've seen in this kind of comedy. Really well done. A real showstopper. And that's the credit of the actor from Game of Thrones, obviously, Jaime, Nikolai Coster-Waldau. He does not have a media-friendly name, but he was very good in the film as the cad. And in the end, he had a really surprisingly strong gift for physical comedy himself. He was really able to hold his own with the women, his female co-stars. But I did think that the treatment of him, the revenge they were exacting, some of it was a little bit too far. And I would have preferred for them to go with smart revenge, which they kind of do in the end, over raunchy revenge. I just thought it was too much, and a friend of mine pointed out and said, if you wouldn't think that was appropriate to do to a female character, you shouldn't do it to a male character. There's a laxatives joke. There's something about female hormones, etc. And I thought that was a little bit lazy on the behalf of the writing. There are a lot of great female comedies, or just comedies in general, like The First Wives Club, etc. that are able to handle revenge against guys who have done you wrong in a much better fashion. But that's a small quibble with the film. Overall, it's very fun. I think it's a great way to it's a great summer warm-up, and I highly recommend actually that you go see it. If you enjoyed Bridesmaids at all, I think this is a very nice second place finish. All right, so that's my review of The Other Woman. Thank you for tuning in, and you can check out some more episodes right now.